Hi everyone, Howard Kingston here, entrepreneur, marketer, and co-founder of Growth Velocity Academy. In this video, I want to share how to create a strong personal brand. So, why is a personal brand important? Well, the reality is, guys, if you want to be seen as an authority in your space and get the best opportunities, get speaking gigs on stages to hundreds and thousands of people, get the best jobs, get the best investment, guess what? You now need a personal brand. All right. I remember a few years ago, I was traveling back from Australia. I lived in Australia for a year. I'd set up an agency there and I'd come back to London and I was really getting into tech and startups and stuff like that. And I remember I decided I wanted to work for join a team of a company, a fast growing startup. And I remember applying to a couple of roles and I got to the final interview of this really exciting startup that raised a few million and they needed a head of growth to come in and help with their launch. All right. And I was so excited about it. It was a football game app kind of thing. And I applied and I got to the final interview and I got the job. And I remember afterwards, I asked the co-founder, a great guy called Ollie, and I said, what was it that really made me stand out? And why did you give it to me? Because I didn't have the experience, guys. Okay, I'd set up a bit of an agency, but I hadn't worked, and I'd worked in traditional marketing before, but I hadn't worked as in a fast-growing technology business before. All right. So other people may have been more qualified. And I asked him and he said, listen, I saw your online profile. I saw your website. At this point, I had a blog called Startup Remarkable, and I was been blogging about marketing and startups for probably over a year. And he really saw that I was kind of so passionate about this that I would make stuff work. And for that reason, he decided to give me the chance. Okay. And that was a big chance because that business really was one of the things, that was really one of the moments that my kind of direction shifted in my tech when it comes to startups and technology. That business went on to, we grew it to 20 million users. The business got acquired, stuff like that. So in this session, I really want to talk about the power of personal brand and talk to you about 3 big ideas around what you need to have a strong personal brand. And it's something I have, even since then, I've continued to do. And it means I get speaking gigs all over the world. I get people messaging me wanting to work with me. And it's all because of my personal brand. Okay. And I want that for you too. Okay. So there's 3 top tips on how to create a strong personal brand. Tip number 1 is know your strengths. Now, if you think about branding, okay, a personal brand is about branding you. And whether you like it or not, you are now a brand, right? My favorite definition of what a brand is a desired perception. Just write that down. Sometimes when people talk branding, there's a lot of kind of waffle and talk about it. But just remember those 3 words. A brand is a desired perception. Okay, so your personal brand is how do you want to be perceived by others when they see your personal brand? And it's probably going to be online. All right, more about that a little bit later, but it's probably going to be online, right? So how do you want to be perceived? All right, so the way I like to think about it is when we're being perceived in the market and people are kind of checking us out, we want to be really clear what we want to stand for. Okay, and we teach this a lot to our students at Growth Velocity Academy, our clients and marketers and entrepreneurs. I really recommend they really focus on 3 circles. Okay, imagine 3 circles like a Venn diagram. At the top, you have your strengths. Play to your strengths. If there's some things that people naturally think you're good at, you know what? That will work really, really well in a brand. In your personal brand. Okay, so let's say people know that you're really good at marketing. Well, make sure that you're positioning yourself there. Now, the second circle is about what you're passionate about. Okay, because you don't want to be building up a personal brand in something that you just find really boring and you're not passionate about it. I'm a big believer that life is too short to work on stuff you're not passionate about. And this is not just like talk, guys. It's important when it comes to a personal brand, because to create a really great personal brand, you want to be like publishing content for years. It doesn't happen overnight. You want to be in this for the long game. So it needs to be a subject matter that you can kind of look at yourself and go, you know what, I'm going to spend the next 5 years building myself up to be an authority in that space. 5 years. So it wants to be something that you're not just interested in this week, something that you're really genuinely interested in the long term. And then the third of the circles is something that the market needs. You want to have it something that there is a demand for in the market. And if you can kind of get those three things together, it means you'll have something that you're good at naturally. You don't want to have something that you're not naturally good at. Like, for example, even if I wanted to be a professional swimmer, I'm just like the top professional swimmers are about 6'7", right? I'm about 6 foot. So, you know what I mean? I'm just going to be up against it. So play to your strengths, find something you're passionate about for the long term, and then find something that the market has demand for, and then you're going to have a really strong personal brand. Okay? Tip number 2 is make a great first impression. Okay. Now, it used to be that first impressions were made when you walked into the room. That was always the saying, networking events, and people talking about networking events will be talking about that for years. Not anymore. Now, first impressions are made online before you walk into the room. People are Googling you. Whether you like it or not, everyone's Googling each other. All right. And that's not my opinion, guys. Like, research has been done on this. The statistics tell you that, for example, when people are about to have an important meeting with someone, like, for example, interview them, over 86% of people now do online research on that person before they meet them. Okay, so whether you like it or not, people are Googling you. If you're going to meet an investor for your startup, they're Googling you. If you're going to meet someone that you want to interview, they're Googling you. If you're meeting a potential important partner, they're Googling you to see if you're credible. Guys, let's be honest, even if we're going on a first date, we're Googling the other person to check them out. Let's be honest, we've all done it, right? So the reality is first impressions are now being made before you walk into the room. So you need to make a killer first impression. And how we kind of teach that to our marketers and our entrepreneurs is really to own page 1 of Google. If someone Googles your name, what comes up? And that's a great kind of thing to do maybe after this, you watch this session and you kind of learn what I'm talking about here, is that Google yourself and make sure you open up what's called a private browser, so it removes all the cookies, okay? And Google yourself and see what comes up. And really what you want is page 1 to be full of really good, credible stuff about you. Not 1 or 2 things, like full. So what I see as a green as in like you're really good, is you have all your major social profiles come up, and there's a few pieces in the press about you. You're featured in Huffington Post, etc., etc., etc. That's where you want to get to, because 91% of all clicks go onto page 1 of Google, and you want to own that first page. Okay, so if you want to learn more about like owning, getting onto page 1 of Google and stuff for your company, I have a great video that I've recorded here that I talk about on the YouTube channel, that I talk about kind of beginner level search engine optimization. So definitely check that out, and we'll link to it in the notes. But just remember, for this one, remember that you need to get onto page 1 of Google. All right. And then tip number 3 for having a strong personal brand is you need to post regularly. Get into a production rhythm. Get into a posting rhythm. I was speaking to a client just yesterday, and she's big in the world of PR, public relations, and she really wants to build up her personal brand. And one of the key things, I kind of asked her, when was the last time you posted on, say, your LinkedIn profile? And it was last year. And she works with all these amazing clients and she gets some incredible results. And guys, what you don't need to do is don't feel you need to be one of these Instagram influencers who's like posting their best life and all this stuff all the time. And the reality is that stuff might, kind of make them feel good, but like it isn't actually doing that much for their business. All right. And a personal brand should really build your career and your business. Okay. Great post examples. And I talked this through with my client yesterday is, think about what are some great results she got for some of her PR clients. She was like, yeah, we did this. Post about it. This is great. People love hearing that. And then naturally people will connect great results with you. And then that's how you build a personal brand in someone's mind. Okay. They'll perceive you as, that's like, for example, in her case, she's the PR girl. She's really good. And then when she hears someone say, anyone know a good PR person? Naturally, they think, this person. Okay. So post good results, post case studies of things you've worked on that were successful, or post little how-to articles, simple things. People love learning about things. I always like to think great content either educates, entertains, or inspires. Okay. And for business stuff, unless you're really, really funny, I recommend, like what I like to do is I like to focus on education, a little bit of entertainment. I think I'm a bit funny, but but really focus on that education stuff, with how-to articles, with things like, case studies, with great client results. Great client results is also maybe inspiration. Okay. So guys, what I've just been sharing in this video is 3 steps to create a world-class, strong personal brand. Okay. If you'd like to learn more about going deeper into, getting a personal brand and us actually helping you do it. This is something we go deep into at Growth Velocity Academy. Anyone that goes through any of our programs, we help them build a great personal brand. But I also want to give everyone something for free. So in the bottom of the notes on this session you'll see a little link to a personal brand checklist that you can download completely free of charge so you can get started straight away. Okay, so guys, if you want to get more videos like this, if you found this useful, don't forget to subscribe to this video and like it. I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Okay, this is Howard from the Growth Velocity Show, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.